For over 1,000 generations, the Jedi Knights were the guardians of peace and justice in the Old Republic. Before the Dark Times, before the Empire.
If you remain the power of the dark side,
you may fire when ready.
I'll show you the dark side. We would be honored if you would join us.
Don't worry, R2. We're going.
Back it up, Buzzsaw. But what you have there.
I am a Jedi, like my father.
Welcome back to Blah Wars. Don't say a prayer for me now. Save it to the morning after. It's the morning after we saw The Last Jedi. Jude's back here. I woke up to a flurry of text.
Yep.
It's as if in the night you had like a kind of
Epiphany.
horrible nightmare and woke up.
The thing is, I didn't. For the first
Can
time.
I just say before we start,
Yeah.
we're going to be talking about the film again in the trilogy of Last Jedi podcasts we've been doing. This is the last one. There will be spoilers, so if you haven't seen the film yet,
This is
listen to
real.
this.
This is real spoilers.
This is
because
super spoiler territory.
we're going to be talking about and dissecting a few scenes here. Now, going back to me not sleeping,
Yeah.
I slept like a log. Honestly, didn't even have a dream. It was one of those. Woke up.
We've
this morning.
both been dreaming about. It sounds really sad, but we've both been dreaming about Star Wars.
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
lead up to this.
I woke up this morning and I just felt a little bit empty.
Right.
And I couldn't put my finger on it. And then I'd got on the train to go to work, and I just started to think, what's going on? Nothing makes sense.
Right.
And they didn't answer any of the questions we had from A Force Awakens.
I didn't say they would.
No, they might do in 9, but they've opened up a hell of a lot more questions for the next film.
Well, what questions did you have? Your two main questions were, where does Snoke come from and where does Rey come from?
Right, okay.
They answered both those questions.
Yeah, but so both of those. So Rey,
Her parents were basically alcoholics.
Yeah.
They sold her
just
for booze.
Okay, feels a bit cheap. Like,
Her parents are bastards.
fine.
Okay? She's not related to Kylo Ren. She's not Luke
I think the
Skywalker's
thing is-
long-lost
I think
child.
The thing is, if this is meant to be a Skywalker trilogy, right? It's a Skywalker trilogy. So it's part of the Skywalker story.
Well,
So you've got to make it Skywalker bloodline.
yes, it is still
Big.
that.
I know.
Kylo Ren.
I know, but he's just.
is
And
his
this is
nephew.
the point, right? The other thing about Kylo Ren that I started to feel a little bit annoyed about is just moany. He's really moany. He's got no. If he was,
Well, like stroppy teenager.
yeah. But if
He was like that in the first film.
yeah, but
It was worse in the first film.
Anakin was a stroppy teenager,
Yeah.
but he had unbelievable skill, right? He could do stuff that other Jedi weren't doing.
Yeah, I would take Kylo Ren
Fine.
over Anakin Skywalker any day.
Personality
Any day.
wise, yeah. But I'm just like, okay. Now what? Now my point is this, right? They've killed off. You take Return of the Jedi, right? You got Luke Skywalker, yeah. Not a Jedi yet, yeah.
Well,
He says, I know. So I am a Jedi, and he says,
one thing remains, Vader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he takes on Vader, which is massive. And then he doesn't really confront the Emperor. Vader rescues him, and that's another twist, and it's beautiful, and it must have been amazing in the cinema. And this big climax is a massive climax of just the biggest, baddest forces of the dark side versus this tiny ray of hope,
Yeah.
and the ray of hope wins.
Okay.
Beautiful climax, right?
Yeah.
We didn't even. What's happened? Like, I loved it when we were sitting in the cinema and Snoke gets cut in half and dies. Couldn't believe it. What an amazing twist! As a standalone film, and the pacing of it, brilliant, absolute genius. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. I must admit, when I came out of the film, I was like, "This film was incredible. This film was incredible."
I know you are, because we all know that, because
Yeah.
we all heard your reaction to it.
Yeah. But when I started to dissect, like I'm saying now, it just doesn't make sense. So now let's just so episode 9, right?
Yeah.
What we're going to be left with is a stroppy, like undeserved dark side user, or like, you know, force wielder, versus Rey, who still hasn't been trained, but is his equal. It's insane. It's
Yeah.
insane.
Well, there wasn't really any Jedi training, and what we saw in it was brief. It was like her swinging her lightsaber around. It
Before
wasn't like
this,
a Rocky-
everyone was saying Rey's a Mary Sue.
Excuse me.
Mary Sue. And I was like, no.
What's
she's-
a Mary Sue?
Right, so Mary Sue. So there was a character in Star Trek called Mary Sue, and it was fan fiction.
Right.
And fan fiction basically notorious for bad writing. Yeah.
Yes.
Because they're not professionals.
No.
There was a character in fan fiction called Mary Sue. She just popped up. She's 15 years old, and she was better than Kirk. She was better than Spock. She outdid everyone on the ship.
Yeah.
Times 10. Took all their roles over, and she basically. And the problem is the plot didn't work because she was good at everything.
Right. Okay. Yep.
In The Force Awakens, people were saying, "Oh, she's a Mary Sue. She's good at everything. She's
Yeah.
like as good as Han Solo. She knows the Falcon inside out already. Like she can build things. No, she can't. She can just take them apart. She's a scavenger in Jakku, right? Mm-hmm. Then she all of a sudden knows how to talk to a Wookiee. Like, how does she understand that language? Then she can suddenly...
She can talk to other aliens as well.
Yeah, but like... Wookiee, Wookiee maybe, but that needs to be backstory. Then it was like, okay, well, she'd never done the Jedi mind trick before, but suddenly she
Knew what to
knew
do.
how to do it, and it's just like,
We can attribute that down to bad writing on behalf of J.J. Abrams, but we're talking about The Last Jedi here.
but what I'm trying to say is, okay,
Yeah.
I thought, well, they'd rectify that in The Last Jedi by
Right.
then Luke training her because she's so powerful. We've never seen Jedi like it.
No.
She's so powerful that there must be an explanation for her power, right?
Yeah.
Suddenly, we're left with
No
the
explanation.
last scene of a kid using the Force to get a broom,
Yeah.
right? And I'm going, okay, there's loads of these Rey Force powers
Yeah.
all over the universe,
Yeah.
untapped power,
Yeah.
but her level of strength is so unchallenged. She's not been trained, and you think Kylo Ren was at that Jedi Temple Academy being trained by Luke Skywalker, the legend Luke Skywalker, for years, I assume, versus one girl that's just picked up a lightsaber and discovered she had the Force over a matter of weeks, and he can't beat her twice. Mm-hmm. That's annoying me.
And what, you're annoyed because you haven't got an explanation for
No,
it?
I'm annoyed that she's just nothing. I'm annoyed that...
You mean you're annoyed by the explanation that her parents were nobodies?
I think it's a lie. I think it's a lie. It has to be a lie.
No, I don't think it's a lie. It's explicitly said, and she agrees to it.
But why is she so powerful?
That's whatever the reason for that is. If they're going to explain it at all, they'll do it in 9, won't they?
Right. So,
Because they're obviously going to have to introduce all this stuff about these children.
okay.
There's obviously
So, what
this
we-
was.
so what I'm
do you
saying
not
is-
think Disney asked these questions to JJ, and the answers are there, but they don't want to reveal them yet?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure. My point is this. What we're left... It doesn't matter now, because what we're left with is Rey, and the biggest threat is Kylo Ren.
Yep.
And it's like...
Who was very much her equal.
Yeah, and is that it? Like, at least with Return of the Jedi, we'd seen a hologram of the Emperor,
Well,
and
what-
then in Return of the Jedi, you get this massive climax of,
Yeah.
okay, now he's against...
My predictions for 9 will be the Kylo Ren becomes aware of these children which have these powers. Okay,
Right.
so does Rey, and it's a rescue to sort of save them before it's too late, type thing. But there'll also be the final showdown between the two of them. There'll
Yeah.
also be the rebuilding of the rebellion
yeah.
against the First Order, which are now completely taking control, we could say, yeah? They more or less are
Well,
in charge.
Like, what...
The First Order's numbers are so humongous.
But where's that come from? Where's
Well,
that come... Like,
I don't know. I haven't read all the books set
'Cause
between The Force
I
Awakens.
know.
Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens. I'm sure the politics of it are all explained.
Yeah.
But the Republic's gone.
Yeah.
The resistance is gone. They've literally got nothing left. They're going to need everybody to chip together and rebel. It's going to have to be born. A rebellion's going to have to be born. And what the Last Jedi does is set up the basis of that, in that this hope in the form of Rey as this flagship, if you like, of the rebellion, and Leia, and those legends. The children know the story at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah? They're literally recreating that story, the final scene of the film.
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker facing off against all the AT-ATs and stuff
But
like that.
He didn't. He was a projection.
I know he didn't.
Which, okay, so I reckon this would have been...
This is what I mean. It's these images. It's this kind of... The word of what happened on that planet, on Crate, has spread by the end of the film. And children on the far rims, of the universe or galaxy are aware of these tales. Okay? They're looking up.
The legacy's more important than the actual act.
Yeah, I think so. Because, he's already a legend, right? Everybody knows who Luke Skywalker is. He's like a folk legend in The Force Awakens.
And then he comes back and he kicks ass.
Yeah. He's like Christ in this film. He really is. Apart from there's no resurrection scene, but it's like, he literally is...
Ray didn't see she didn't see that.
No, she didn't see that.
That's going to be a problem, I think.
Well, I'm sure you don't think on the Millennium Falcon that she wouldn't have just heard. She literally says something to Leia about Luke. She says something like, Luke's gone. And he goes, I know, I felt him.
Okay, fine.
Yeah?
So I'm just so you got to help me because...
Well, the force projection thing, I found that really amazing because...
I just find it...
I thought
wacky.
the only people that could see them were force-sensitive people. So Luke Skywalker walks into the Rebel base. Everybody can see him. Even C-3PO can see him. He winks at C-3PO. Okay? As the audience, we all believe it's Luke Skywalker. Nobody's even for a second questioning it's an illusion or something until he has a face-off with Kylo Ren, after which all the bloody First Order are firing at him. So everyone on the First Order can see him.
No.
So what the fuck?
At the time, I loved the
his
twist.
His power, his projection was so strong that he was physically there. He was physically.
So are you saying that
there.
when he gets hit and lightsaber kills him,
he physically got
killed?
Yeah, he was physically there. Somehow, okay? The Force manifested itself. He was physically there. Maybe he doesn't feel the pain the same way. And maybe his image doesn't get this bleeding and stuff the same way. But he was physically there as far as we're concerned, right?
Yeah.
Because he touched his hands with Leia and everything like that. If it was just a holographic kind of projection, he couldn't have done that.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
he did
he
something
showed,
beyond what Kylo Ren could do earlier in the film. When Kylo Ren got a bit
his
wet,
power was insane.
yeah, and he dies either as a result of the mental, the amount of energy required for that. He literally burns himself
out. Does
out.
he die from that, or does he die from the physical wounds that his manifestation took?
Could be that too. I think it's
Combination of both.
I would like to think it's the latter. I would like to think it's the earlier. I'd like to think it's just the amount of sheer power that he drew upon.
Because I was thinking, man,
It's a fitting end. You don't get an actor like Mark Hamill, the age he is, to be doing all somersaulty, flippy shit. No,
but you didn't need it. But you still got it.
He was fantastic in this film.
I think
Luke Skywalker was without a doubt.
He was great.
The best thing about the movie, in my opinion.
He was great.
It was fantastic to have him back.
I just wish that Ray got trained properly.
Yeah, well, we don't know. You see, the whole film takes place probably over one day. Yeah, if that.
Yeah.
And
she'd been there 2 days and then got annoyed.
She'd been there like 1 day max, I reckon. It's just actually no, she can't have done because she kept on going to bed and waking up and going to bed and waking up and all this kind of stuff.
A week.
Maybe 3 days max, let's say.
It's madness.
What did she need to learn? He literally said, you don't need to learn anything off me. I can't teach you anything. There's 3 lessons he taught her. 1, about feeling the force inside yourself and telling the difference between the light and the dark and then the balance of it. That was interesting. They did that. He taught her some... I'm trying to think what else he taught her. He said it wasn't about moving rocks about. So that's because she went there with that kind of, it's all about lifting rocks. He's like, no, it's not like that. Everything you just said is wrong. He keeps saying this to her. So his lessons to her are short, He literally says, "I'll teach you 3 things," and I cannot remember
So
specifically what those 3
Yoda
things
comes
were.
back and he burns the books. I'm sure
Yeah.
I saw the books in the Millennium Falcon in the tray at the end.
In the what?
There was a tray that Finn gets a rug out for Rose in on the Millennium Falcon.
The books are in there.
And I swear I saw all the books.
Well, another thing they'll have to do in 9 is Rey needs a lightsaber. The
Yeah.
only thing she's got is Luke Skywalker's lightsaber, and it's literally in bits.
Mm.
The one that he used on Crate must have been an illusion, or a.
I thought that was weird.
Hence
because
why you know
if
what?
wanted
I think
to-
it was Kylo Ren when he was Ben Solo's lightsaber.
Do you think? Because
Yeah.
it didn't look like.
Did you see Ben Solo's lightsaber
Yeah,
in the
it did,
flashback
yeah.
scenes? It looked exactly the same as that. Same colour blade, same colour handle.
Because it wasn't shiny. It was almost like matte.
Yeah, like brushed aluminium.
I would have.
silver.
I would have liked. I mean, maybe you could call it fan service, but I would have liked to have seen a green saber.
No, I know.
But
Yeah.
anyway, I was thinking, well, how would I like?
So what exactly,
I think-
what is it about the film that you
No, I
suddenly
loved the
hate?
film.
I mean,
loved
did
the
you
film.
did you literally go home after we did our podcasts and then watch a load of YouTubers
No, I didn't.
crying into
I
their
didn't.
cameras and shit?
I didn't. I watched one this morning.
Well, you
'cause
put
I-
up a thing on our Instagram story. You literally put up a story that said, "Call this knee-jerk reaction." Has The Last Jedi ruined Star Wars, yes or no? And at the moment it says something like
Oh, everyone's saying no.
6% say yes, 93% say no. So, mate, what the hell were you going through when you thought that was an appropriate question to ask? Because your question's already loaded, as if it's saying, "I think the new Star Wars film is shit. What do you think?"
Oh, no, wait. I don't.
Am
think
I
it-
right?
I don't think it's. I don't think it's shite. I think it's.
Hasn't ruined anything.
I think no. I just there's things in it like Luke created Kylo Ren
Yeah,
in one moment of stupidity,
yeah.
and the whole original trilogy is Luke striving and really trying hard, struggling to bring Darth Vader back to light.
Yeah.
And he goes through all that effort and all
Yeah.
of those adventures and all of that story, and he gets there and he succeeds and he's
And Luke
sweating.
is wrecked with remorse.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why he runs off to this island to die.
But
Okay,
it's just
he
like-
knows it causes everything else to happen. That's why his return at the end of the film is so important. It's him redeeming himself and correcting his mistakes.
And that's the point. That's why the false hologram felt cheap.
What do you expect him to do? Physically fly there?
No, I want him to get his X-wing out,
Right, and turn up in person.
turn up in person. I would have done something like this. I'll just make this up on the spot. I would have one of the walkers gets really hit from behind. Luke Skywalker an X-wing. That would have been amazing. And he smashes the X-wing into the back of a walker.
But
flips
without
out.
that, if you did that, you wouldn't have got a round of applause in the cinema. There was a round of applause when we saw Luke Skywalker levitating, projecting himself mentally. The whole movie was about this new power that people can project themselves into each other's heads. And Luke Skywalker did it not just to Kylo Ren, to everybody in the bloody place.
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
saw
Okay,
him.
okay, you're right,
It
you're right, you're
shows us what Luke Skywalker is. He is literally a living legend, okay? He's the most powerful Jedi there has ever been. He's become that.
Yeah.
Yeah? He's become something greater than his father ever was.
Yeah.
Okay? And he literally says, I'm not the last Jedi and whatever, she is and whatever. This girl will be next. She is his legacy. I think what they did in this movie was so different to what everybody sort of pre-imagined that it's bound to disappoint people because they imagined something already and then they got it completely
I
wrong.
don't think
Of course they're
I'm not disappointed, and I think I
Fans
agree
don't have
with-
great imaginations.
No, and
they
I'm
don't.
Not, I'm not disappointed. I agree with you that it needed shaking up.
It's the most original Star Wars film
Absolutely.
there has ever
What I'm saying-
been.
and everyone hated Empire.
Yeah.
When Empire came out, everyone hated it.
What? Really?
No, they did. They only started loving Empire
Yeah.
when Jedi came out. Yeah, you can read about this. The initial reactions and the reviews.
I remember
and,
seeing people come out of the cinema saying it was scary, and
Right.
I
They had
didn't
to set up.
like.
George Lucas had to set up he had to go and see psychologists to make sure that
Yeah,
kids were
he
going to be
consulted
alright.
a child, and he said when he came to write Return of the Jedi, he said, I've got a problem. I basically told I told the audience that Darth Vader tells the audience that he's Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
How are children going to take that? And they said, unless it's categorically stated by a good guy that it's the truth, children will deny it.
Yeah.
And they'll say he's lying. We've seen that YouTube video of a child watching Empire Strikes Back.
That's why I'm.
And she turns to her mum and she hears Darth Vader say, "I'm your father." And she turns to her mum and goes, "No, he's lying, mum, he's lying."
But that's why I was questioning the whole Kylo Ren thing, saying
Right.
about Rey's parents.
Right.
Because you don't hear a good guy say it.
Well, maybe.
And I know that. But I'm not saying it's a bad film. I love the film. I love the film. I'm still excited about the film. I want to go see it 5 more times. I'm just questioning.
What if it was a lie then? What if it wasn't lie?
Well, I want to, but it would be amazing because then it explains the amount of force power she's got.
Yeah.
Because
Well, you know what I wanted to know about this movie, which nobody's addressed?
yeah,
The Knights of Ren, the people we see in that
the other,
flashback.
and that's the other thing.
Where were they?
Like, where are they? Who are they?
Who are they? Where are they? What
Why
happened
is
to
Snoke
them?
talking about them? The other thing is Snoke. Okay,
Somebody suggested, they're the what they call Praetorian Guards or something like that. I say, no, I don't think so at all.
they said in Force Awakens, even you, leader of the Knights of Ren. It's a big thing.
I think he either says Master of the Knights of
Master
Ren
of the
or Last of the Knights of Ren.
I'm sure it's Master.
Okay.
So they need to rock up in 9. Big
yeah.
time.
Well, look, Rey has that vision where she sees them all standing in the rain, stabbing somebody.
Yeah.
That could be a future prediction. That could be a shot from 9. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We might even see that scenario, her confronting them all in the rain. Kylo Ren's wearing his mask again in that flashback. If Kylo Ren has totally destroyed his helmet, which I don't think he has,
No.
I think he's going to go back to it. He's now raging again. He's gone full back into wannabe Darth Vader mode again.
He can be whatever he wants.
Yeah,
Because
of course
he's not on a leash anymore.
No.
That's exciting territory for 9 for sure. But is he? Maybe you're convincing me again.
Look, I
just needed to talk to someone that
this
knows
film
about Star
was
Wars.
so different to what everybody expected that you're bound to go in there and think, "Oh, I didn't like this, I didn't like that." When you come out, when you think about the next day, it's just because there were some things in it which I did not like. Okay, which I've said. Canto Bight
Pointless.
was filler. That film was 20 minutes too long.
Yeah.
Cut that Canto Bight shit
Yeah.
out. They could
DJ
have-
pointless.
They had to do a little sub story to give Finn and Rose some kind of adventure to go on.
Yeah.
They already had so much to do in that movie.
Yeah.
I just wish there was a quicker way of going without going to Canto Bight, going straight to the Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
That would have been better. It would have cut 20 minutes off the
Phasma
film.
was pointless.
Yeah, but the problem is with The Force Awakens, there's too many characters,
Yeah.
and they're now starting
Execution
to solve
guards are
that problem.
pointless.
All
All of those things were just
the
to sell
execution
merchandise.
cards. Do you remember that? People
Yeah.
were saying, "Oh, look, the execution cards! Look at these toys. That means Leia's going to get her head cut off or something." It's like the people's imagination goes
Just
wild when
mental.
they see toys, and they start to put these little plots together in their head. Everybody's completely wrong. What makes me laugh about this film, which I think is great, everybody was so obsessed with who is Supreme Leader Snoke. Where does he come from? What does he want? How do we get to this state? And guess what? It's all completely irrelevant because he gets killed by his
Okay,
own
but
apprentice
It is irrelevant.
in
It
what
really
is a wonderful twist on the Return of the Jedi throne room scene. And then you get probably the best lightsaber sequence
Yeah.
we've ever seen in a Star Wars film.
Yeah.
2 against 8 or something like that. It was
Yeah.
just super exciting.
It was great.
The way that they worked as a team, she throws him the lightsaber and he just ignites it and it goes straight through the guy's head. The way that there was a point where they both looked like they were going to die at one point
Well,
as
I
well.
thought those two were going to team up. She was either going to turn and be bad with him, and then Luke would have to
Why
face
did
off
she do
with
that?
But-
Makes no sense. It makes all she's done, all the effort, all the fighting. She's such a good character.
Yeah,
Her
but
heart
that-
is
yeah,
so pure.
that's
Why
the-
would she then go? Yeah, all right, I'll be a baddie with you.
That's the point that I was making about Luke. All the effort he went through, heart so pure, one little mistake, and then that's it. He's wrecked everything.
But he made Luke, right? Luke, he says he felt this rising fury in his. Luke could probably saw ahead and saw Kylo Ren and stuff like that. He saw all this happening. He thought, I'm going to stop this now. I'm going to get in there and stop this right now. I'm going to kill him.
That's mental.
He literally says he considered it for 1 second. He turned his lightsaber on, and he was about to turn it off again, and then Kylo Ren starts to fight with him, and he says, no, I'm sorry, I don't mean it, and everything like that. And it's too late. That's the moment where Luke destroys everything. Luke made a mistake.
Yeah.
So, he made a mistake. So what? He didn't do what... He didn't make a life-changing decision.
So when
it was literally a
when that
mistake
happened,
backfired.
When they started fighting, I
Uh-huh.
turned to you and I said, Luke's got to be the bad guy.
He's not.
But he wasn't.
No, Kylo Ren's still the bad guy. The problem is Kylo Ren is so conflicted that it's not just a case of being either very good or very bad. He wants to be the bad guy. So, not really wants to be the bad guy. He is so fucking sick of all the sort of the religion of the Jedi and everything like that. He's sick of all the paperwork and all the kind of history of it all and whatever, and the expectation, the weight on him. He basically wants to do things his way. He doesn't want to answer to anybody.
Yeah.
His allegiance is with the First Order. He likes being this kind of dictator. He likes ordering
likes
people
power.
about. The way he talks to Hux after that, he strangles him. He throws him across the room of a
force chokes him.
of the
That was
shuttle.
cool.
You know what I mean? Yeah, he force chokes him. He's furious. This guy's got so much anger in him. He's not ready to turn to the good side yet. He couldn't bring himself to kill his own mother.
I think.
But
yeah,
that just shows to show the guy is not completely
Gone,
evil. He's still got love in his heart. He just doesn't. He has so much anger and hatred
I think the thing
and
is,
a
mate,
lust for revenge.
I think the thing is like with Vader,
Yes.
he was evil through and through.
Yeah.
You saw if Vader walked into a room,
Yeah.
and we've seen it in Rogue One only
Yeah.
last year. Everyone's getting their asses kicked.
Yeah.
You weren't surviving. If Vader was there, game over.
Yeah.
Like just incredible.
Yeah, but I'm sure if Kylo Ren walked into that base and there were still Resistance members, we would have seen a similar scene.
But we didn't.
Because that's because there was only
But
about
this is what I'm
18
saying.
left and they all ran out the back door.
But my point is this, right? End of Force Awakens, he gets his arse kicked by someone that's just picked a lightsaber up for the first time.
yes.
Right?
Well, no.
Okay, he got shot.
No, wait. He first of all, he gets shot. He's injured. He then has a go at Finn. There's no match. He completely overpowers him. He's
Well, he
fighting
gets
with
hit.
He's fighting with
Finn gets a
Rey.
knock
He's
on him.
fighting with Rey for about 15 minutes, completely overpowering her. She's really struggling to stay alive.
Yeah.
When they lock lightsabers and he starts talking to her, I can show you the ways of the Force.
Mm-hmm.
She concentrates. She rethinks. I think she draws on this kind of new energy. It's either a dark energy or a light energy, but she basically comes at him full on fury.
She uses anger.
She uses anger to defeat him, and he's absolutely terrified of her. So it's not like she just kind of kicked his ass. There was a moment. It was like an arm wrestle.
Yeah.
He really had her close to the table, and all of a sudden she completely flipped him round and surprised him.
fine.
And you know what? In the cinema, that was wonderful because you really felt that she was out of her depth,
Mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden you felt like, wow, she's overcome. It's like this David and Goliath thing. She's overcome it.
Yeah.
So that's a great cinematic twist. I mean, she isn't his equal. Okay, this is why they're able to do that sort of touch thing. They are literally crossing into each other's heads. It is remarkable, man.
So
I can't understand why people dislike that. And now we've got a setup for a film where we really don't know what's going to happen. We need to rebuild the rebellion. We need to have a final showdown between Rey and Kylo Ren. There has to be all these loose ends tied together
and
now.
that's the beauty of it, right? So we get to go in there looking forward to all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We got 2 years to unpack this, but don't get me wrong, I loved the film.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I thought the story was excellent. I thought Carrie Fisher played her so well in this. I thought Leia in space was a bit weird.
That was really strange. I've been thinking about the science of that. Have you seen Event Horizon?
No.
There's a scene where a guy gets sucked out of an airlock and he's exposed to the vacuum of space.
And
all the blood
yeah.
vessels in his face start to come up through his cheeks and whatever. His eyes start to bleed, his nose starts to bleed, his mouth starts bleeding. All the oxygen in his body is blown out of his body. It's not sucked out, it's blown
Instant
out from the
death.
inside. Yeah, it's the most painful, excruciating thing you've ever seen. And they rescue him, but afterwards he's like never the same again. He's completely kind of like turned inside out almost. It's horrific. Leia's just floating around like an angel. I don't know how she did it, but she closes her eyes before the explosion happens. She senses it coming.
Yeah.
She senses it coming in the Force. She completely closes her eyes and relaxes herself and prepares for the inevitable. She gets sucked out there. I think she just puts herself into this concentrated, relaxed state. in the last 30 years, we've not seen her being trained or anything, but obviously she has shared something with Luke. Luke has shown her that she's got these abilities and how to use them.
He says that in Return of the Jedi,
He's
and that
taught
was
her
a point
everything.
that I wanted to talk about. So, and in time,
you'll use them too. You've got these powers. You'll discover how to use them.
That's what I thought was great, because it linked back to that. She blows the door off using the Force, I assume, when she's up against Poe, and then stuns Poe with a gun. That door.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Blown off by the Force.
Yeah. Sure.
She's got the Force, man. So it's like those sequences I loved. I loved Chewie eating a porg. I loved that. I loved those. There was
the porg in the cockpit I was really worried it was going to be stupid and wacky. To be honest, it was done so subtly.
Yeah,
it was fun.
The
porgs were not the pain in the arse problem I thought they were going to be.
I see people complaining about that thing with Hux and Poe at the beginning with the. Can I leave a message?
What silly dialogue?
Yeah,
it was a bit JJ-ish.
It's a little bit, but then I thought back to A New Hope and Han Solo going over the speakers.
Tannoy,
everything
babbling.
Normal, blah blah blah. Bang, stupid. It's a similar sort of thing, but probably a little bit over the top to that.
Yeah, it was a bit cocky and whatever. But that's what Poe's character is like, and it's really funny because obviously. Hux takes everything incredibly seriously. The way he talks, he sees himself as this.
It was a complete juxtaposition of character, and those two meet.
And everyone's like going, "I think he's taking the piss of you, sir."
Look, I just want to get my point on this across. I love the film. I'm not slagging it off.
No,
if I was to rate it and put it up against the rest of the film, I'd say it's probably take Rogue One out of it in terms of the Skywalker saga. It's second up after Empire. I reckon, or on a par with Empire in terms of the shock ability factor or the standalone nature of it. It's up there. I love this film. But
it's so far off the original Star Wars movie, though, isn't it?
Pissing me off. The Snoke thing is well. The thing is, you've got all these fans out there going. Force Awakens is too much like A New Hope.
The fans actually want you to do. They basically want you to remake these original trilogy films, and then as soon as you do, they moan about it. You do something different and bold and different, and half the people like it, and half the people don't like it. You know what? If that means that from now on, the audience of Star Wars, people going to the cinema and people buying T-shirts and people listening to all kinds of, buying toys and whatever, all the hype, all the casual viewers of Star Wars. Yeah. If it means all those casual viewers of Star Wars now fuck off, then great, because we could totally do with watering down the.
I know what you mean.
Just like some people, the Johnny Come Latelys and whatever, it's probably not for them.
Yeah.
Hey, what? But you know what? They're 10 times better than the prequels. These new recent Disney films. This one is so different and brave and bold, and you've got to admire that.
Oh, absolutely.
You've got to admire the way it's done. Even the political, the whole spaceship being shot at and Poe taking mutiny and all this kind of stuff. That all felt to me like the kind of thing that happens in a Star Trek film. Yeah. Like somebody disagrees with Captain Kirk and does their own little thing, and he goes, "Hey, you're insubordinate and whatever. I'm court-martialing you." All that kind of stuff. It felt like a little bit of Star Trek in there.
How did you?
And I didn't mind that. I thought this is different. We've never seen this before in a Star Wars film.
Canto Bight.
All the good guys are attacking each other. They're fighting between themselves while they're being the risk of being torn apart.
That was very good. That was a war within a war.
A war inside a war.
That was great. In Canto Bight.
Yeah.
It felt very Harry Potter to me. Didn't like it. Little leprechaun with coins. Didn't like that. How did you feel about?
Bit too much comedy.
Yeah,
too much comedy there.
How did you feel about Admiral Akbar
being killed off
like that?
Well, Admiral Akbar is not like a massively important character. He is a general, like General Radis or something like that. Yeah. By the way, you know the massive ship?
Yeah.
It's called the Radis.
Yeah, I know.
By the way, it's named after him. So Admiral Akbar obviously has a small role in Return of the Jedi, and he was actually, all his scenes in Return of the Jedi were shot by General with Nadine in his place in case the puppet didn't work.
Yeah.
He's then used briefly, very briefly, in The Force Awakens, and he's got literally one line in this movie. He happens to be in the wrong place at the wrong time and got killed. The voice actor died recently.
Yeah.
They had to kill him off.
Got you.
You know what I
Okay,
mean?
fine.
They
fine,
did
fine,
it for a
fine.
sensible reason. They just didn't want to replace the actor.
Yeah.
And he was always just because he had an action figure of himself in the 1980s doesn't mean he's this incredible,
Okay.
amazing
Yeah.
character. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Boba Fett fell into the bloody Sarlacc pit in Return of the Jedi. He was literally in the movie for 10 minutes
Yeah,
or
you're
whatever.
right, you're
you
right,
know,
you're right.
that I don't really mind that he's been killed off.
I loved Luke's. You
have to have
costume.
losses.
I love Luke's costume in the Force projection.
I loved all of his costumes in the film. I loved the kind of the really dark, kind of waterproofy number he wore.
His dyed beard was hilarious.
I loved his white robes. I loved his look in the flashback sequence. I mean, it's Luke Skywalker. He's now at that kind of Obi-Wan level.
I did like the flashback sequence. It was almost like
Great.
going back to Return of the Jedi.
Yeah,
My favourite scene in the whole film,
Yeah.
Yoda.
yeah, without a doubt.
Loved it. It was like looking.
I've had the Yoda theme in my head since I saw the film.
Oh, it was like watching. It was like watching a deleted scene from Empire that you didn't know. It was that
The
was
soundtrack's
beautiful.
out today. Have you heard it yet? Have you gone and listened to
No,
the
not yet.
soundtrack? I've not either. So, I mean, at the time I wasn't really paying attention, but I guess I was just enjoying the film. But it would be nice to compare the soundtrack to The Force Awakens and see if there's actually it feels more established now.
Yeah.
Because Kylo Ren's got his theme now, and Rey's got her, you know. And then you hear the the Luke and Leia theme. Well, it's the one where they meet in the at Endor, and he tells her, tells her, "I'm your
Well,
brother."
that was lovely. That scene in The Last Jedi where they meet.
There's
for the
so many
last
nice
time.
emotional moments.
It was great
that
because-
really tug on your
Well,
heart.
the other layer on that is that you know Carrie Fisher's dead, and so you
Yes.
think for Mark Hamill, that's a lovely sentiment moment that he'll always fondly remember.
When I was watching the film, I didn't even consider the fact that she was dead. Do you know what I mean? I was watching the movie.
We
and
missed
I
there
just
was
forgot, and then just at the end we were leaving, and it said "in loving memory of Carrie Fisher,"
Well,
which
you
I
know,
expected
there's a
they'd put
little
in the
mini
film.
documentary at the end of the film that people were staying behind for.
Really?
Yeah.
A making of?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know this.
It's for Carrie Fisher,
Okay.
but we had to rush off. So the next time we see it, we'll go.
Yeah.
But look, mate, I loved the film. I thought it was great. I thought the story was brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
It was just it's the Snoke thing. Let me ask you another question quickly.
I'm glad he's gone.
How powerful was Snoke compared to the Emperor?
Well, we don't really know because he can do all these illusions and whatever. Presumably, he's got some kind of. I mean, he seems just as wise. He was actually joining Rey and Kylo Ren.
Their mind,
and,
yeah.
joining their minds together for them.
Yeah.
That wasn't something they were able to do. That means we won't see that kind of thing
Yeah.
again unless they're able to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
The only other person that could do that is Luke.
Yeah.
So Snoke is equal to Luke in power, in my opinion.
Okay, but Luke from The Last Jedi, not Luke from The Return of the Jedi.
No, I'm talking about
Yeah.
his state in The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Jedi
So-
Master, Luke Skywalker.
What we're saying is, okay, so Snoke's. There's no way that Snoke could have gone and taken on the Emperor or Darth Vader back in the day.
What do you mean back in the day?
Back in
we don't know.
OT times.
Who knows? We don't even know where he was, how he came into the storyline. We don't know anything about that. The only way we're going to find out about that now is through expanded universe fiction. There'll be books and whatever. There's the book Tarkin
Yeah.
and the sequel to that now.
Yeah.
There's going to have to be a book about Snoke or something like that. People will want to read it. Some poor bastard at Disney or Lucasfilm, is going to have to commission a writer to come up with that. The story team are going to have to work out where does Snoke come
Standalone
from.
film, I
I
reckon.
mean, you were like thinking, it could be. At one point, you said it might be the kid from Rebels. At
Ezra,
one point,
yeah.
but I mean.
That was
Snoke,
madness.
I was really impressed with the CGI of Snoke. I mean,
So-
why did it need to be a CGI
Snoke's gone.
creation? Because of the deformity?
Snoke's
Did you not
dead.
done with the mask?
And that's it. We'll never see him again.
Well, I did what I didn't want was when you see Snoke in The Force Awakens, you see him so briefly, and he says there's one line where he goes, I think the first line of the film. One of his first lines is something like "The scavenger resisted you," and it sounds almost like Smeagol / Gollum
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Lord of the Rings, like kind of that was precious,
Yeah,
all
I
that
know
kind
what
of.
you mean.
And I was worried that we were
It's
going
the
to get
same
this
actor.
kind of like monkey man that crawls around on all fours or something like that. But I'm glad that we didn't see. I'm glad we didn't see too much of him, and I'm glad that he got disposed of that way. he was incredibly controlling and manipulative, and he and Kylo Ren had this face-off early on in the film. He underestimates Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren overthrows him, and then Rey underestimates Kylo Ren because she genuinely thinks he's going to help her now.
Yeah.
But she's not. He's not interested in helping her. He's not interested in anything but his own selfish need.
Okay. So you can you can live with not knowing any more about Snoke, where he came from, and all this, because it's bugging me.
Well, if you want to know where he come from, then like I say, you're going to have to wait till Disney release a book or something like that, which I'm sure they will do. They may even. I mean, I don't know, but they may even introduce Snoke in one of these additional 3 movies they're making.
Possibly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could. We don't know what period of time those Rian Johnson films are in. I tell you what, they're going to be in safe hands now.
Yeah.
No wonder Disney.
You're worried about JJ's.
I'm really worried about what J.J. Abrams is going to do now with the remaining chapter. How is he going to give us a satisfying conclusion?
I know.
Do you know? I'm just worried that's going to happen. He's going to do something. Well, as long as it's considered and carefully made and whatever. I just feel that I want to see more from Rian Johnson now, and I wish they'd said to him because originally somebody else was directing 9, Colin Trevorrow.
Yeah, that's right.
Who made Lost World? Jurassic World. He
Well, no wonder he got sacked because.
Well, he got fired. The reason is
Go on.
because his other movie that came out recently, I've forgotten the title of it now, completely flopped critically and commercially.
Yeah.
And Disney freaked out. And they were like, "Oh God, this guy's like made a shit film.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not capable of meeting our insane demand."
So, 2 more questions. How do you feel about Luke? The way Luke passed or became one with the Force was beautiful, really lovely. Him staring into the twin suns was reminiscent of
and then
New Hope.
The cloak just goes into the wind.
That was really, you couldn't have a better way of Luke dying.
That's how I want to go. Mate, I want to go sat on the edge of a Skellig Michael, watching the sunset, and then just fade away into nothingness.
Now, do you think?
Yeah.
I quite like that his X-wing's still there.
Yeah, great, isn't it?
Like,
no, we're not going to see it again. That island's gone.
Yeah.
Skellig Michael is now going to be a tourist attraction, which the locals hate, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
But it's going to be a tourist attraction. It's going to be where Luke Skywalker lived,
It's where Luke Skywalker died.
And died. Yeah, people are going to be going up there laying
like
flowers down now.
Yeah,
I mean,
sad,
that bit
sad.
For all we know, that bit of rock it probably isn't even there. That's actually probably just a set.
Of course it is.
But,
So...
that lovely pool on the inside, there's like a kind of cave, and there's a circular disc kind of...
It's a yin and yang thing,
it's a yin and yang thing. And also, Paige and Rose both have this yin-yang type necklace that connects. It's like 2 halves that break apart. I've come on what... DJ says what material it's made of, but I can't remember. It's some sort of fictional...
Good conductor.
Yeah, it's a good conductor. But there is that kind of reoccurring yin and yang thing. And if you think about the yin and yang... Isn't that Kylo Ren and Rey? They are yin and yang. They are literally the balance. Wouldn't it be cool if they came together and have you seen the Dark Crystal, where the Skeksis and the Mystics come together at the end, and there's 9 of them. Every time one of them dies, the other one from the other group dies as well. They're all the same being. They're just mixed up. So I like this. There are loads of subtle things through the movie, themes that reoccur. The force projection thing, the yin and yang thing, as we're saying, there's reoccurring things in there. It's a really well thought through, nice piece of work, and it's surprising. It's different. It's refreshing. It's what the fucking franchise needed. Not that the last 2 are bad. It's just Force Awakens was safe. Yeah, they played it real safe, but they also impressed a lot of people, and they also disappointed a lot of people. Rogue One was, as far as I'm concerned, perfect. I mean, you could not have done that any better. It was such a lovely fitting tribute to the original trilogy and to that original Star Wars film, and it's a kind of complement, a partner to it. A little kind of sister for it. And then this movie is just so bold and different, and you've got to admire the guts of playing it like this and doing it this way. I saw somebody put on Instagram The Last Jedi, and it's a parody of the opening crawl. It literally says, "Please don't kill Luke Skywalker. Please don't
Yeah,
kill
I
Luke
saw
Skywalker.
that,
Please
yeah.
don't let him die. Don't let him die. Don't let him die. Don't let him die." I went in there expecting him to die, thinking Mark Hamill is not a young actor. All
He'll
I
come
wanted
back as a
was,
ghost, mate.
I'd love to see him with a lightsaber again. And I would love to see him reunited with Carrie Fisher, and he was. I got both of those things, and I got more than I bargained for as
Yeah.
well. I came out beaming with a big smile.
Yeah, it was lovely. I mean, to see him fight again.
And there's a great scene where he wakes up in the morning and goes down to the hill. There's this great big kind of weird alien with big saggy breasts. He milks them.
green liquid.
This milk comes out, and then he just has a nice gulp of it
How
and
does he-
smiles at Ray.
How did he find that one out? He just went up and went, "Can I have a squeeze on my tits?"
These must be, you know how in the Star Wars universe there are aliens on all sorts of planets, but people kind of know what they are already.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, that
It's
it's
just the
one of those
equivalent of
things.
an Act 2 cow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I don't know, man. Like,
the film had such.
I like such spunk. Mate. I love the
I
film.
can't wait
love
for the
film.
porn parody
It's
of
just-
that.
I think I'm just kind of. I'm not annoyed. I'm not disappointed. I'm just left wanting to know.
Yeah.
I'm impatient. I think that's what it is. I'm impatient for 9.
Do you like the bit
Carrie Fisher.
when Ray saw Kylo Ren, but again he invades her head again, and he's in his room half dressed. He's got like a bare
Put a
chest
towel
and a
on.
massive scar all the way down
Yeah.
from his face
Yeah.
all the way down to his basically to his ribs, past his ribs, that she gave him. And she's like, "Oh God, can you put a towel on? Like, I'm not comfortable looking at you half naked." That was interesting, wasn't it? A bit of humour even then.
2 more
'Cause
things.
That's what I was thinking.
2 more things.
Yeah,
You know the force projection,
yeah,
and he cuts Luke in half, doesn't touch him.
yeah,
Puts the lightsaber through him, doesn't touch him.
yeah.
How the hell are the lightsabers clashing?
They don't clash.
Then they not meet.
Luke avoids every single attack.
Got you.
He ducks
Okay.
out the way. The blade goes right past his face at one point. At no point do their lightsabers clash.
Okay, I missed that.
And even if they did clash, the lightsaber is a projection.
Yeah.
Luke hands Leia some dice.
Yeah.
Hands dice. And they're physically in her hand. She then flees. Kylo Ren then finds them, picks them up, and then in his hand they literally disappear. Because
Yeah.
the projection's gone.
Yeah.
It's like it leaves a signature.
But that was enough for Kylo Ren to realise it was a projection.
Yes, that's why that was
Yeah.
there. But he knows it's a projection when he pokes him, and it's like kind of like, what's
Of
going on?
course,
I've been
yeah, of
fooled.
course.
He's like
Okay.
thinking, my God, this is
So
incredible.
my last thing is
I've underestimated
Leia.
my uncle. I thought I was smarter than him.
I've
Turns out I'm not.
read a few articles.
I loved his
that
last line.
Leia,
His last line, Luke Skywalker's last line in the Star Wars universe is, as far as we know, "See you around, kid." Just,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure someone
Is
said
that
that
what
to
he
him.
said to?
He says that. He says his last line
To
to
who does he-
Kylo Ren.
Okay.
He just says, "See you around, kid," and
Yeah.
just fades away. And I just thought it's kind of like it's the kind of thing. A
If
cocky
you, he says,
Luke Skywalker
if you
said.
strike me down,
Yeah, I'll always be with you.
I'll always be with you.
Yeah.
That was a nice line.
But that was just to distract him. It was
But-
all a distraction. So Poe sees it and goes, "It's a
Yeah.
distraction. He's doing this so we can escape."
So what we need to do now, mate,
Yeah.
is we need to.
I want one of those little crystal foxes, by the way, mate.
They look
I
cool,
want
don't they?
one of them. I love foxes and I like dogs. So having one of them around my house, jingling around.
The other thing is Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
She is apparently now going to be replaced, actress-wise.
Who says this?
It's been in movieweb.com. Collider,
Really?
Collider has reported on
Are
it.
they going to do CGI face on a different body?
No, it's gonna they're gonna recast her apparently. So
What?
she's not gonna die. She's gonna have a big role. Leia is gonna have a big role apparently, but they're gonna recast her. I feel uncomfortable about that.
It's a shame they killed off Vice Admiral Holdo because you kind of
Yeah.
need her to now carry the
Yeah.
flag.
Yeah,
But she sacrificed herself.
yeah. So that was
Hmm.
I don't think I'd rather she died as Carrie Fisher.
Be
than-
nice to see in the 9th one Poe Dameron take on the mantle of
Yeah,
leader of the rebellion.
and I'd like it
Because
to
he
be.
is such a fucking hero.
I'd like it to be 3 years down the line that the story picks back up.
Yeah,
Because
that'd be
it
good.
needs some time. Rey needs
That
to
would be
hone
good.
her skills.
Yeah.
I want to know that Luke's come back and presented himself as a Force ghost.
Uh-huh.
And, there's a little bit of that. And I think that will happen. Okay, you've changed my mind. I'm going to delete that Instagram.
I mean, I don't
thing.
think it's a perfect Star Wars film. Like I say, there are bits in it that
I'd like to see more Chewie.
I didn't. Yeah, but the problem is with the older characters is they're really not the focus of this. R2D2 has literally 2 or 3
scenes.
tasks in that movie.
Yeah.
He talks to Luke, shows him a projection. On the Falcon, he's actually playing around with the little. He's put his little arm into the thing.
It
and
does
spinning
feel
things around.
old. They do feel old and redundant in
They
these
do.
films.
C-3PO has a couple of funny lines. There's one bit where Leia looks at C-3PO and says, "Wipe that ridiculous expression off your face," and whatever, which is quite funny because and he's like, "I'm trying my best. I don't know what you mean," and all this kind of stuff. She's just saying things that Han would say to C-3PO, and even Poe has some kind of, "I'm not interested right now, C-3PO. Shut up. I'm not interested."
Lando's got to come back, man. Lando come back.
And the other thing, Finn's family, Finn knows who his family was. It's not important who his family were or where Rose's family come from. It doesn't matter. These people they are in the situation they're in. Deal with it.
It's because they haven't got powers. I think that's the thing that's annoying me.
Yeah.
She's so powerful.
Yeah.
There's no explanation for it.
No.
And she's only just started to discover the powers now. Like, you think of Anakin Skywalker, pod racing, could do all of this cool stuff, had powers then. That kid on Canto Bight with the what's it?
The broom. Yeah,
he could pull that towards him with the Force.
I'm absolutely sure that I saw that. The kid walks out the room, the broom is leaning against the wall. He walks past the broom, and then he
uses the Force to grab
just
it.
holds his hand out, and the force brings it into his hand. Everybody in the cinema gasped, or some people did. You didn't seem to even notice, because you said afterwards, "What?" And he literally walks out, sweeps the floor, and looks at the stars. And in the previous scene, he was obviously playing with these little kind of figures he's made to resemble Luke Skywalker and the Walker and all this kind of stuff. And these children are obviously the seed for something else. They might even be the seed for the next 3 trilogy films. The new, let's call it the Rian Johnson trilogy. So that could be that. Who knows? But the film is not without its faults. But fucking hell, it's a big improvement on The Force Awakens, and it's a big improvement on the prequels.
Even if you go to the Rebels thing, that's Disney owned and Disney written.
That's being finished though.
That's being finished, but you've got Ezra. He's got these false abilities.
They'll kill them all off.
Yeah,
they'll kill them all off.
Of course they will. He's got these false abilities, but he still has to be trained. He still has to go through these lessons and this learning by Kanan. And it's kind of like, well, you've got one rule going on here, and then all of a sudden you've got this other rule going on here. Like, what's the... I think it's just... It will all be explained in 9. I want to go see the film again.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go see it again at some point. My girlfriend said to me, "How was that?" I said, "It was great." And then about an hour later, she said, "I'm thinking, I really want to go and see this film with you."
Yeah,
I was like, "You want to come and see Star Wars?"
I won't get
okay,
that.
fine. I said, "Well, you will like it." I said, without, I said Yoda's in it. Because she loves Yoda.
Yeah.
She absolutely adores Yoda. So I said, Yoda's in it, and... I don't think it's not going to break her heart to know that. It gives us something to look forward to. I haven't said anything else about it. There'll be plenty of surprises in there. And, she likes all the actors in it from different things. She likes having Driver from Girls. She loves
good.
Laura Dern from various things.
Yeah.
So, and she likes Oscar Isaacs as well. So, there's loads there that she can take from it, I think.
Well, look, I think it's a great film. I think it's...
Such spunk.
Such
spunk.
I just maybe I need to go and see it again. And do you know what? A lot of the guys that I've seen on YouTube have said the same thing. They came away feeling cheated.
Yeah.
Went to see it a second time. I'm talking like proper film, like Collider people that like it.
Yeah.
And the second time they loved it. So I'm hoping that's going to happen to me.
Well, we'll have to see. We shall see.
I'm usually so buoyant about these things.
Okay. Well, mate, thanks for getting back to me with a... I hope this conversation has changed your opinion.
You've changed my mind.
Maybe you just got to hold on to the faith of where they're going with this film.
Yeah, I will.
I don't think it's got the rewatchability of something like Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi. That kind of film that you could literally watch every weekend. but there's so many magical moments in it to look forward to. You know, it's one of those films where you had it on a Sunday afternoon, you'd be able to go and like, make dinner and come back, and you'd be like, oh, I'm going to watch this bit now. Oh, it's Canto Bite now. I'll fuck off for 10 minutes and come back. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. But it'd be nice to see what the fans do when they get their hands on it and they do a fan edit. You know what I mean? They take out the Canto Bite scenes, because some people will, because it just feels really out of place.
But you need to keep the kids scenes in the Canto Bite bit.
They wanted to do that to have the equivalent of the cantina scene, didn't they? They wanted to show all these wacky aliens and whatever.
They need to stop doing stuff like that.
Yeah, you don't need it. It's not necessary. It could have been without. I think they just wanted to show us more of the universe in this, and they did. But the and like I said, the chase sequence that goes on for too long, the whole First Order are literally creeping up on the rebellion all the time. That's a bit that does drag. That does drag. So. It's not without its faults, as I've said many times on this podcast. But
no, it's good. It's good.
It's good. I'm optimistic. I can't wait to see it again.
Well, same here. But look, let's maybe. I mean, we've been talking about this for years, so you know we're gonna.
Canto Bite scene is where you go to the toilet in the film when you need a wee.
Well, when we do the commentary, we'll do both go to the toilet together. Oh, I was chatting to a guy.
I would love to get hold of a pirate copy of it and then do a commentary off that.
Right. I won't be getting involved in that. If any legal teams are listening, that's John Galantini. That's John Galantini.
I want to do a commentary on the Last Jedi before it's even out of the cinemas.
So I worked with a guy. He was telling me at the pub at lunchtime. He went to see Captain America: Civil War with his mate.
Yeah.
Went up to go have a wee.
Yeah.
He was at the urinal, looked over, and it was Mark Hamill standing next to him having a slash.
Wow!
And he said
what cinema was this?
Somewhere in London.
Right.
And he said it was the weirdest experience of his life.
Did Mark Hamill look at him and go, "Hey, how you doing?"
No, he didn't say anything. He just looked down.
He's got his lightsaber out.
Saw his lightsaber.
Green.
If it was, he'd have had to go to the doctors. But yeah, no, he said it was the weirdest wee of his life, and he didn't want it to end.
It's the kind of thing where Mark Hamill would make a wisecrack.
Yeah.
Something like that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But incredible. He's a nice guy, apparently, Mark Hamill. Even when he just runs into people in public and whatever. He's really sort of
He said he was really small.
Yeah, he's not as tall as people think.
No.
He does have like platform shoes on in the scene where he walks into the rebel base.
Yeah, he does.
Did you not think?
Yeah.
His shoes have got big old soles on them. Like
skinny jeans,
shoes.
didn't he?
Orthopedic shoes. One massive shoe and one small
one leg bigger than the other, longer than the other.
Yeah. All right, cool. Thanks very much for listening to our podcast. You guys have been incredible. Our listening figures are through the bloody roof, burying the needle.
Yeah.
The listening figures on the Last Jedi review on the day it went out, the highest we've ever had on a release day. So thank you so much for coming along on this journey with us. We hope you're enjoying the show, and you're always welcome to message us and get involved. You can email us at blawarspodcast@gmail.com. You can contact us on Twitter. You can contact us on Instagram. If you can also go to iTunes and leave a review for us, it literally takes like 5 minutes to write something, give it a title, give us a star rating.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. We'd love that.
Yeah.
Until next time, I've been John Gantini.
I've been Jude Gay. Sorry for moaning.
It's all right, mate. You're forgiven. They forgive you. They love you. And may the Force be with all of you. We'll see you on Christmas Day, 25th of December. New episode going up on that day. Hope you enjoy it.
See you later.
Bye.